I'm here with Joe Furtado with Rockwell Automation. Rockwell Automation is a 110-year-old company. They've been headquartered here in Cambridge, Ontario for 57 years. And Joe Furtado has actually been with them for 37 years of that 57. So that's quite an achievement in itself. Joe is the Global Projects Manager, and I would say about a year and a half, 2 years ago, Paul Wemple from Rayonac and Joe started looking at their lighting upgrade projects. Is that a right time frame?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. So thought we'd get Joe on camera here to help some of our viewers and other potential customers hear the reality of our product. And this was a large scope project in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We had over 700 existing fixtures in a very high quality production environment. So changing out your lights was a very important step. Rockwell did a lot of research, looked at T8 lighting, T5 lighting, the Think lighting system. Did you look at any other technologies when you considered?
We looked at some LEDs, but I didn't think the technology was there yet for us to go in this mass changeover.
Yeah, the LED definitely is not the right type of light for high production area. We've seen that. So maybe tell us a little bit about the research you guys did in the road that got you to choose the Rayonac Think product for your facility.
It was a very long process to go through all the different products. Obviously, everybody in the market that's selling energy efficient products, they all say their products is the best product. So we had to do a lot of research on our own to go through and understand what the technology was. Because the Think solution technology was different than what everybody else was offering, so we needed to understand that. We brought in some test fixtures that we tested and compared the Think solution to the T5s and the T8s, and obviously we need to think of what our employees think of the lighting, so we had to take that into consideration. So we set up a test area and had people go in and work in those areas and give us some feedback as to what they thought about the lighting. And obviously Think lighting, it's not the least expensive one, but when you look at the overall cost of maintenance, the installation cost, which I knew that it was going to be much easier to install than trying to install the T5s. And just looking at it from and the incentives that we had in front of us from the provincial and the federal government, and the savings from the energy side of it, it made it a viable project. Obviously this was such a massive project to take on, and the cost associated with it, we had to go to headquarters in Milwaukee to get approval, and we had to present the case to the financial community to say this is where we believe we will have the savings. So the savings is we're a high energy user here at this facility because of the products that we manufacture and test at this facility. But the lighting portion, we will see a 19% reduction in the overall.
Joe, one of the aspects of the projects, which obviously is in the top 5 key items that any company is going to look at, is the price or the cost of doing a lighting upgrade. One of the things we pride ourselves with at Rayonac Energy with our Think lights is we're actually able to come in and do an instant ROI or put companies in a profit position the first month. Either the project literally pays for itself right away if they choose a payment program. A lot of companies, bigger companies today, choose to pay cash, so they want to see their ROI. And there's other guys out there promoting, or companies obviously promoting technologies like a T8 or T5 light, which has a cheaper price point up front than the Think induction in some cases. But we definitely have a lower cost of ownership. Yeah. How did that impact you guys? Did you find that on the comparisons of quotes?
Big time. When we're comparing it to the installation cost, because we were comparing it to the T5, the process of hanging the new chains and so forth, so that was going to be a big part of it. But the long term, the overall cost of the project, where you're looking at the life expectancy of the lights, where you're going from a 20,000 hour maximum to 100,000 hour maximum. So if you look at the cost of having an electrician grab a skyjack, go up and replace the bulbs, that's huge cost to us. So that was really one of the big, trying to justify the difference in cost to our senior management as to why we were picking
Yes.
a more expensive solution. Those are all things that we went through, understanding the cost of the total ownership of the project.
And that's a real good point. In my opinion, the T5 technology is not well suited for warehousing or production environments. I mean, let's take your Rockwell Automation, for example. We have 700 400-watt metal halides up. To go to the T5 option, you were probably looking at over 4,000 bulbs from 700.
That's correct.
At 15 to 25 feet in the air. So a lot of our customers have found, once they see a better solution like our product with a 10-year warranty, obviously the cost of maintenance alone justifies any price difference. Never mind the better quality of light.
And when you look at, when we did some of the testing, looking at the different products, and we isolated the test area, and if you could imagine our facility, or it's wide open, and all of a sudden you've got the round lights that look nice and appealing, and all of a sudden you populate the same area with 4-footers or 8-foot fluorescents. It just would not be appealing at all for the way we would like to present our facility as a state-of-the-art.
It's more aesthetically pleasing, our technology.
Absolutely.
Plus no eye glare.
Yeah.
The other thing you guys did, we actually achieved a 70% energy savings on the portion of lighting in the facility?
That's correct, and that's taken into account where a number of areas where it's not populated very often. We went through with putting motion detect sensors in there, so that would give us additional savings where normally those lights would be on 100% of the time, 24 hours a day. Now they may be down to 15% of the day, of the 24 hours that they're on, and so that was where we were able to move the savings up to 70%. As an overall facility, we're a high user of energy here because of the products that we're testing. But the lighting portion, it resulted in a 19% overall savings from the energy.
So you're taking your overall energy bill, including all the machinery you run on this floor, and your actual overall bill was dropped by 19% just from including the thin conduction lights.
That's correct.
That's incredible.
That's correct. And that's something that, we have so many different initiatives going through our organization to be lean and be more productive. And this is one of the items that we're reporting on a monthly basis, the savings, and we're validating it on a monthly basis to make sure that we are achieving what we said we're doing.
And on that point too, and this project had a very large environmental impact to the environment by what you've done. It's probably one of the single greatest projects that you could have done in this facility for the environment.
Absolutely, yeah. And we, as a corporation, Rockwell, we have awards that each facility is awarded based on what you're doing to reduce the environmental footprint. And in the last 2 years, we have achieved the award for all the facilities throughout the world for Rockwell. We became the #1 facility for reducing the environmental.
How many facilities do you have around the world? About?
I think we probably somewhere around 70 to 75 facilities.
So you guys are a leader not only in the environmental end within Rockwell, but also on the cost effectiveness.
Absolutely.
Because this project makes financial sense, plus it's green. Yeah. In a sense, you're getting paid to go green.
Absolutely. And what we've done here, the technology that we've implemented here in during our research, we've also taken that information and we're sharing with the other facilities. So as they're doing any retrofits or any changes, we want them to look at this product.
Good. On that note, too, I just got to say, I mean, we've actually dropped over 1.5 million kilowatt hours a year from this facility. That's the equivalent translation of stopping over 2,300,000 pounds of CO2 emissions from entering the environment.
Yes.
Based on emissions to create that much electricity. In a sense, that's the same or the equivalent of Rockwell, Cambridge planting over 44,000 trees a year. That's how many trees it would take to neutralize that CO2 emissions. That's something you guys got to be proud of. That's over 440,000 trees planted in the first 10 years.
Yeah, we're very proud of that, and then this information that we are sharing with our employees, so they understand the impact that they're having on the environment.
One other quick note: we talked about motion sensors. I don't know if in your research against or looking at T5s or think induction lights, you noticed our light is one of the only motion sensor friendly lights on the market. I don't know if this came into account when you looked at things, but when you put a motion sensor on a fluorescent like a T8 or a T5, turning that light bulb off and on cuts the lifespan, and I believe the warranty in some cases in half. With our technology, the motion sensor does not derate our light output over time or our warranty, because the light's instant on with no electricity hitting the bulb. So, did you know that?
No, that is good information to know. At the time that we're doing the studies, that was not one item that I was exposed to or understood what would happen there, but we didn't do any investigation on that portion. Because in the old system, we didn't have any motion detectors, because of once the power goes off, it usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes for the light to refire. So that's where we did not use motion sensors previously, but with this the Think technology, it made good sense for some of the areas that are not populated on a regular basis, that we would go with a motion sensor.
Joe, and just one last thing, when we do a comparison against T5 and our Think induction light, I'm not sure if you're aware, had we changed out 700 fixtures to a T5 technology with 4,200 bulbs, over an 80 to 90,000 hour lifespan, you would have changed a lot of those bulbs in that time.
Absolutely.
T5 and T8 bulbs still have a volatile mercury inside them, very harmful for the environment. So much so that the Ontario government's actually mandated you have to pay to recycle them and have that mercury captured. So besides the cost end over time with that technology, that choice, with our technology, we have zero volatile mercury. It's a solid state amalgam, 100% recyclable product. The comparison over the lifespan of that to this is over 63,000 milligrams of highly volatile mercury, which would have had to been taken and paid for and recycled. Or, we don't like to think of this, Rockwell obviously has a lot of safety measures to make sure those would have been taken into account, but some facilities today, they end up in the disposal. Mercury is very toxic. So
we absolutely took that into account, and again, trying to be an environmentally responsible corporation, we definitely use that into our advantage to get approval for the project.
Perfect. Just in closing, overall as a project, you did a lot of work with Paul Wempel, who's one of our senior sales reps. I think he probably was very involved with educating you in that. On the whole process with working with Rayonac as a company and the lighting, is this a project, and is Rayonac Energy a company that you would recommend to your other affiliates or a business across the street, or if you owned your own business with a company, is this a process you would do again this way?
Well, absolutely, and working with Paul was such a pleasure. Being educated, because that was a big thing with getting educated on the technology. There's not a lot of information out there, and there's not a lot of history. So when you're going into new technology and trying to have a project of this size be approved by corporate, you need to make sure you have all your information accurate. And Paul was definitely a big help, and I enjoyed immensely working with him and with your company. It was a very good experience, and as with the electricians, working with them and having the installation done, there was no issues throughout the whole process. Very clean.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.